Hello everyone, TLSG here, back again with another daily Marvel Snap video. You may be thinking, who's this young guy? If you've seen any of my recent videos, this is a lot different look than normal. I shaved the beard, it'll be back at some point, but it needed to go for now. But as far as today's video we're going to be covering a Devil Dino deck that I feel like is the best deck to climb to infinite in pool 2. Now, I've tried a lot of different versions, I've tried a lot of different archetypes, and I logged my stats. I did about 25 games with the Jubilee Odin, I did about 25 games with Discard, with Move, with several versions of Devil Dino, with a Spectrum ongoing. And the Devil Dino actually expanded that out to about 50 per sub archetype. So I've played a lot of games recently. But for the Devil Dino builds themselves, I had 3 basic builds that I was trying to go with. One was a Dino Carnage that used a Nova and Carnage Deathlock as a way to kind of push your cards up over that normal edge. The other one I was using was a Control Devil Dino that used Storm, it used Jessica Jones, it kind of leaned into locking down one of the lanes, and then using your Devil Dino to win one of the other ones. And both of those had really good win rates. They were about 60% win rates, respectively, for both. The Carnage deck had a massively wide array of games because those typically went to 4 and 8 cube matches, and sometimes we lost those. And so at one point it was about a 3.3 cube gain per game over the course of maybe 10 or 15 games, and then over the course of the next 10 or 15 it dropped down to about 1 because we lost several in a row, and it was just too swingy for me. I like something that is consistent. For the Control build, it had about the same win rate, but the cube rate was very consistently low, and whenever I started thinking about it, I realized it was probably because of Storm. If we locked down and locked in a location and only had to win the other one, a lot of times the opponent realized or could tell if they were going to have a win condition or not, and then they would back out before the end of the game. In order to get 4 and 8 cube matches, the opponent has to think that they have a chance of winning, or else they're going to retreat. And so that's what Storm, Control, Devil Dino was kind of bringing to the table, was that sort of aspect. And so then we went back to the basics. We went simple with it. I figured I was trying to do too much with the Devil Dino build, and I just really leaned into the early game tempo like we've been building with our other pool 2 decks, and then leaning into the Devil Dino as our last turn or last couple of turn win conditions. And so the deck uses a lot of cards that will generate additional cards in hand to keep our hand size large. So we have Agent 13, we have Cable, we have Sentinel, we have Moon Girl, and then we have White Queen, all of which are going to be good at making sure that your Devil Dino stays large over the course of the entire game. And then Devil Dino, of course, if you don't know Devil Dino, you probably stumbled upon the wrong video. Check out our Pool 1 build for Khazar Zoo if you're just getting into the game. But Devil Dino is incredibly powerful. It can be countered, which is why we used the tech card. I was running Enchantress in this slot for a little while, but then it dawned on me that if somebody drops a Devil Dino, very, very rarely is it going to be below 9 power. And so Shang-Chi is a little bit more flexible. If they're running a really greedy list where it pushes in an Infinite, and they used the Jubilee, they pulled into our Infinite, Shang-Chi makes sure that we have a counter condition, and we can completely counter it. Whereas Enchantress is only going to bring that Devil Dino down to 3, Shang-Chi is going to obliterate it. And so Shang-Chi is a little bit more flexible, I have found in my testing, and it allows us to counter things like movement decks. We can destroy those pesky vultures that get really, really large and can swing the games by themselves. And then we have Collector as a way to, as we draw into additional cards with our Agent 13, our Sentinel, our Moon Girl, Collector will buff up as well. He becomes a mid-range card. He's not over the top. If you don't have him, that's entirely fine. But he does push a little bit of power and a little bit more consistency into the deck by being a decently powered 2-cost drop. And then the rest of the deck is focused on our early game. So the Queen herself, Angela, which is in just about every Pool 1 and Pool 2 deck because she is that powerful right now. Then we filled in with Ant-Man, Nightcrawler, Scorpion, and of course we have the Cable and Sentinel that can continue to buff up Angela as well. And so overall, a pretty straightforward Devil Dino build, but I have had an insane amount of luck with this. Over my testing of about 25 games with this list, the preliminary results have been phenomenal. It has been about a 65% win rate because of that late game kind of counterplay or big power push of our own. And then the cube gain is what is really drawing to me. I ended up with an average of about 2.5, just a little under, so it was like 2.47 if I remember right, cube gain per game with this list. And so compared to the other pool 2 builds that I've been doing, that is insanely strong in comparison to those other builds, and with the fact that we're going up against strong bots, we're going up against regular players that at this point know what they're doing, and they're pretty competitive. And so that is the rundown of the deck list. Let's go ahead and jump into a couple of games. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, so first up we have Wizard Beast, and the first location is X-Mansion. We have Angela and Ant-Man in hand, so I don't think we're gonna go ahead and play early. So they play an early Squirrel Girl. So they could have a destruction trigger. Maybe I don't think they would be running Killmonger. Maybe they're running something that can buff up these low cost cards. Could be like one of the only things that I can think of off the top of my head. Or they could be running a destruction trigger that is going to destroy one of these lanes with like a Carnage. It'll have Nova to buff them up even further. But I think we go ahead and we play our collector. Ooh, the game is going to end after turn 4, so that's kind of unfortunate. It is fortunate that we have the Mr. Sinister though, because that's going to be able to be a 4-power push, and then we can also do like a Cable or a Nightcrawler as well to buff up our Angela even further. And they double snap on us into the X-Mansion location. It's going to be an X-Mansion casino. If they get the upside of the X-Mansion casino, then I think they win. If we get the upside, then I think we win. I think it comes down to just luck here. And so let's hope for something big. They get a Devil Dino. Oh no. And we get a Hulk Buster. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Okay, but wait. But wait, there's there could be more. We can do Shang-Chi. That will swing this location for us. Maybe they lean in on trying to win the hub. If they don't invest additional resources over into TVA, then I think we are okay. We could also do Mr. Sinister here as a way to push this up to 5. We could do Nightcrawler to push this one up. But let's go ahead and try out our Devil Dino play. We're going to hope. We have hope on our side. So they do change the TVA. Ooh, they changed the TVA location. That means the game does not end right here. And that also means that we take out their Devil Dino as a way to swing that location, and we have additional turns. Had they let the game end, they had it. They had it at that point, and we got incredibly lucky that they did not let the game end. So do we lean all the way in to the Isle of Silence? Do we push into the X-Mansion a little bit? We do have a Devil Dino as that like last turn power push in any lane besides the Isle of Silence, because that's going to make sure that our ongoing effects do not trigger there. So let's go with this into the right hand side. This is protected from a Devil Dino themselves. And so with the White Queen, that pushes us up to 14. Actually, it pushes us to 16 with the Angela trigger, right? Yep. So that's perfect. The Captain Marvel will be able to be a rover and move across the board, so we have to keep an eye out for that. I think they could probably move their Nightcrawler as well to try it if they want to try to lock this one down. With their White Queen, we steal their Blue Marvel. Now we have a decision. Is it more worthwhile to do a Blue Marvel and an Agent 13? They have a pretty good card with the Captain Marvel that can swing across the board. Blue Marvel will push this one up by 4, actually. If we did that, we might as well do this, move Nightcrawler out, push Agent 13 in. That's going to push this lane up a decent amount, this lane up a little bit. I almost think we lean into the far left lane instead. Okay, let's switch this around. Let's do the Blue Marvel, let's move our Nightcrawler over, and we're going to drop Agent 13 here. We're going to give them the hub location. We'll be tied as is right now, so they don't drop anything there, because Collector will buff up by 1 with Agent 13 and 1 by Blue Marvel. They have a Blue Marvel as well, and so I think we're okay here. Let's go ahead and lock this one in. Let's see what they end up dropping. They probably do a Blue Marvel of their own, at which point I think we're probably okay. We have to win the left lane by more, by a substantial amount, so that their Blue Marvel cannot swing over that direction and win the game. And so if it moves over, it will tie that left lane, and the tiebreaker comes down to us. For a Pool 2 game, that was incredibly intense. So had Captain Marvel moved over here, that would have pushed this up to 15. It would have left this one at 7. We would have won this one. We would have still won the tiebreaker. And so because the tie would have went in here, we would have won that tiebreaker mechanic. And so it ended up not moving, but that was incredibly close. It took several pivots to get to where we needed to go, but we got there in the end. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, so next up we have Please. In our starting hand, we have our Devil Dino, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. The Crimson Cosmos, we will be able to play maybe a Devil Dino over there. We might also save it for a Shang-Chi play. Sometimes we can steal the location away with just a Shang-Chi if they only drop maybe one card in that location. The Superflow does give us an additional energy each turn. I think we're going to lean in. We're going to do Scorpion right off the bat. That's going to impact all of their cards negatively. Ooh, it looks like anytime I see a Wolfsbane dropped early, that tells me that it's very likely an Odin deck, and that they might end up trying to re-trigger this lane again at the end of the game. And so that's something to kind of look out for. Let's go with a White Queen into the far left. We'll see what they end up dropping and where. So they go with a White Queen as well. Ours is just a little bit more powerful though because of the Scorpion. So they actually copy our Devil Dino. We copy their Odin, so we know that they have Odin in hand. But they also have Devil Dino, but that's going to be a great target for us to Shang-Chi. Maybe we can kind of sneak it away from them, and they're not going to realize what happened while it's happening. So let's go ahead and go with the Sentinel and Cable into the middle as a way to kind of spread our power out across the board. Alright, so they don't play anything on turn 4, which is kind of interesting. They don't have anything that's pushing up. They're not going to be able to drop an early Infinite. I'm curious as to what they're going to drop. Very interesting. So we could go with a Devil Dino into the far left. We could go with a Devil Dino maybe here. So if they ended up doing an Odin play on the last turn, that would give them 8 and then 6 more. So 8 and then 6 would be, that's a pretty big power push. I don't know that we want to compete for this location unless we just don't have initiative and we can target it with a Shang-Chi. All right, we're going to go with Devil Dino into the Ruins, and we're going to hope that they start stacking power into Los Diablos base. So they do their Devil Dino, which is kind of beautiful. They have an Odin, so why did they stack in Los Diablos base, I wonder? Unless they're not going with that play line. This is going to be 5. Right now they have 4 power here. If they drop a card here, they're going to have to push one here as well. I say we go with the Shang-Chi and then a Sentinel. We could do a Rocket and an Ant-Man to fully cap this one out and really lean into this location. But if they invest that much power here, so if they invest their Odin, then they're not going to be able to trigger their Ant-Man regardless. But if they push that much power here, then I don't think they're going to be able to win in the Crimson Cosmos. I'm confident enough to snap at this point, but we waited so long that I don't think they would stay to see the resolution. And so we're just going to go ahead and let it go for 2. We're going to see what they play and where. Maybe they go with a Shang-Chi of their own to swing the Ruins location. Maybe we can get lucky and swing Los Diablos base in the process. And so let's go ahead and see. Ooh, they have a White Tiger, which could... Ooh, okay, so far so good. And then a Nightcrawler in Ruins. So actually, it didn't matter. With the Nightcrawler being that final card that they had here, it didn't really matter where the Tiger token went. If it went here, we would have lost this one, but we still won these 2. And so we were able to find the win condition. A lot of maneuvering in Pool 2 comes down to being able to outread and outmaneuver your opponent. And so it's a little bit different dynamic than in Pool 1. It's not just that the strongest deck is going to win the most cubes and the most often. A lot of times it comes down to a last turn decision of where you're going to push your power. That could be the difference between winning 8 cubes and losing 8 cubes. And so let's go ahead and jump into another one. All right, so next up we have Salatory. The first location is Mindscape. We could do our Nightcrawler. I'm just going to go ahead and throw our Ant-Man onto the board. With Mindscape, it's most likely going to be that we don't go with the Devil Dino route, or if we do, it's not going to be as reliable, because it really depends on how many cards they have in their hand once those hands switch sides. And so it's a lot less reliable this way. And then if we give them a Shang-Chi, that's also a pretty bad resource, because then if we... Oh my gosh. We're going to give them a Shang-Chi regardless. Oh no. So we have our Devil Dino in hand. We also have our Shang-Chi, which is unfortunate. Let's go with the Collector and a Nightcrawler. The Bifrost is going to push some of our cards over... The Bifrost is going to push our cards over one direction to the right. If we play anything into the Bifrost, it pushes them over into Jotunheim, which is not a great look for us. So they use Electra and it destroys our Ant-Man, unfortunately. They are still running Electra in Pool 2. Let's go with... We could go with one of the Shang-Chis. We could go with a Scorpion, but that's going to hurt us in the long run, honestly. Because we can go Scorpion, or we can go Scorpion next turn. Whatever they drop is going to have 1 less power, but after that, all of the resources we get into our hand are going to have that 1 less power. So here, Jessica Jones is not going to buff up above Shang-Chi range, so we can't even think about doing that. So it's going to get up to 14. So if we move this over and we drop a Devil Dino, as long as our Devil Dino is more than 9, so we have to have 2 cards by the end of the game to tie in this location, and I'm okay with that. I think we're fine. I think we're fine with that gamble. Let's go ahead and lock in the Devil Dino play. We have the Bifrost location. We just need to find that win condition in the last lane. And we do want to keep in mind that they're going to have 2 Shang-Chis. We're not going to send them great resources to be able to utilize. The Hobgoblin in Jotunheim is massive, though, because we're not going to be able to really do anything with that. We don't have an Odin to re-trigger it. We don't have anything to destroy it. And so we'll see. We will see how it turns out. We have initiative. If we play Devil Dino, they actually can Shang-Chi it. I think because we know that they have 2 Shang-Chis and I think it was an Agent 13, and they don't have a Devil Dino. We played ours and they gave us 1 in return. I think we go with a White Queen and a Sentinel. That's going to push 8 more power here. That pushes us up to 10, which is going to be hard for them to compete with. I don't know that they have anything that large, but it comes down to a read. And my read here is that, I don't know. It comes down to if they top deck into something that can push more than 10 power, and I don't think they do. And so they play 2 cards, one being the Agent 13, most likely, and then one being whatever they top decked. Their highest cost card is Chavez, so I think they leaned into the Shang-Chi play, hoping we played something that would be more than 9 power. They were hoping that we didn't pay attention and we weren't playing heads up, and that we dropped our Devil Dino, and they were going to be able to destroy it. But we were paying close attention to who had initiative, so I was able to tell because we had a bigger win condition here versus them. So we had the tiebreaker one. We also had the glowing border. So I knew that we turned first. So Devil Dino was not a potential play line. And we knew that they had 2 Shang-Chis to be able to utilize. And so that's not the direction we wanted to go with. And had they went with an America Chavez that they top decked, that would have only put them at 9. We would have beat them out by 1. Very, very close. Very, very close game. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave it a like and a comment down below. As always, this has been TLSG. Later, guys.